see it here when it's up.
Remember, there's a 1 minute delay.
There's a couple of people here. Lucas here, that's good.
We're on.
Hello everyone. Good morning from a very sunny Teddington. It's 9 a.m. here, and good afternoon to all of you and good evening to everyone across the globe. Thank you all so much for joining us today for the webinar that we are going to do today on the piano method book. I've got Tim here, as you can see, our Director of Academic, who's going to go through the product with you and talk a little bit more about what it all contains. And I know that Alice has already sent out a pack for you guys, so you will already have materials on it, and I hope some of you have gone through it already. As always, we're sat here waiting for your questions, so please send them over on the stream. You'll see it on the right hand side of the video that you can put in your questions, and we will go through them as we can throughout the presentation as well. I think that's kind of it for now, just to kind of present what we're doing today. So please send over if you have any questions, and I'm going to hand over to Tim.
Great.
Started.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, hi again. It seems like I'm doing these quite regularly now, so which I think is really, really positive to be able to talk as much as possible with you about all the different products that we've got coming out. And you'll see we've got lots and lots and lots of things lined up. So I guess we'll be doing one of these about acoustic guitar very soon, and then we'll move on to ukulele before the end of the year. So it's a really big time of development for us here, and hopefully that supports your work as well. Okay, let's move on. So we've created a short slideshow to take you through, and some of which is the content from the pack which Alistair sent out, and some of which is new material, just especially for you. But what I did want to say is that there is that 1 minute delay from if you have a question that you want to ask and from us receiving it here. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you, but please do send through any questions if you like. And Henry's here to give me a nudge and tell me which question it is. Great, so we move on. So this is based a little bit around the product information pack, which was prepared by Natalie, sent out by Alistair, but I've added a few other bits and bobs for us as well today. So first of all, the Rock School Piano Method book. So I wanted to focus on the name just for a little bit. So what we wanted to do was really be explicit with customers that this is the method that people could follow to prepare themselves to enter the Rock School syllabuses. So as many of you know, the company is based around examinations. The books are a great way of providing a gateway to these examinations, but they aren't our primary business source. So these books don't have an examination with them, but they prepare people to go into debut and grade 1. So I think they're lovely covers. We've tried to keep it with a kind of fun feel, so that there is a real sense of the target market that we're looking for within this. And you'll see that the strap line talks about popular piano for beginners. But remember, these are method books which don't have an examination associated with them, but they are a way to get into the Rock School graded piano syllabus. So why did we do these books? Well, we had lots and lots of requests from teachers and students that they were slightly concerned that just starting out with contemporary piano might not work well for them, and that they needed to be prepared to get into the graded syllabus. So that's the primary goal for these as well. But we also had requests from teachers as well who were looking for an alternative to things like John Thompson piano. And when they saw our graded syllabus, they thought, fantastic, these are brilliant pieces, but how do I get a piano student from no knowledge through to debut? So that's what this does. So book 1 takes the readers through the initial approaches to playing the piano. That's posture, playing with left and right hands, simple things like being able to press the keys properly. And then book 2 advances that so that by the middle of book 2, students are ready to take a debut exam, and it is explicit in the book to say you are now ready to take your debut exam. And by the end of book 2, they are ready to take grade 1. So what we hope is that with these 2 books, that students that buy these books and learn from these books will take debut and grade 1 piano exams. So who are the books for? Well, they're a way to introduce contemporary piano, but we think that they are mainly going to work for students who are 5 to 8 years old. That said, we haven't designed this in a childish way, and actually lots of adults that have seen these books have said that they think they would be very useful as well. But primarily we are thinking about 5 to 8 year old students who are about to take debut or grade 1. Teachers will find this if they're looking for an alternative, a new book to shake up their teaching practice. The most popular books in the world for piano are John Thompson's and Piano Safari. Now we've referenced these books heavily to make sure that our piano method book is better than John Thompson's Easy Piano course and better than Piano Safari. And I really do believe that our books are better than those 2 books. Some of you may have used those books as well. I learnt on John Thompson's Easiest Piano course years ago, and the trouble I've had with John Thompson's piano is that I learnt on it and I'm 40 years old and the book is still the same. So we wanted to really try and make something which was a bit newer and a bit more exciting for students. So the other thing that we wanted to do was support teachers as their journey into the graded exam system. So, our grades use a lot of backing tracks and click work, and there are elements of improvisation that can seem a bit scary for especially classical piano teachers. So we wanted a way for teachers to support their students into that journey of graded exams. So for example, all of the tracks which feature on all of the exercises and the games that feature within the piano method books have got associated backing tracks with them as well. So that really encourages students to get used to playing along with a backing track, which they don't have to do in a classical examination setting. So what we did was we tried to make them feel the same. So the key features that if you're talking to somebody about these books, the key features that we want you to look at are that they've got 10 benchmark topics to work through. When we first started writing the book, we thought about the idea of weeks of study or lessons of study, but actually knowing that all of the students would progress at different levels, we decided to call them topics. And it might take a student 3 weeks to get through a topic, or it might take them 1 week, up to them. So we're preparing students for grades. We have composed this completely from scratch. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that composition process as well. So I wrote the topics with Jono, and we went through the features of all of what each of those topics should contain. And then we worked with one of our examiners, Noam Lederman, to write and compose these new exercises, games and pieces. Some of them are very short, and by the end of book 2, then they become full-length pieces. But these are brand new composed exercises. In book 2, we've also included a couple of rock school pieces from the old piano syllabus, because we thought they were great pieces and we wanted to use them again. When we were composing the pieces, we also composed accompaniment parts for each one of those exercises. So the majority of the games, exercises and pieces have also got teacher parts, so the teachers can accompany the student. And we've done that so that they can work on the same piano. So they're in different octaves of the piano, so that the teacher can play along with the student as well, or they could play on a separate piano if they happen to have that. We worked with another one of our examiners, Andy Robertson, to create brilliant backing tracks for each one of these games and exercises, so that if a student was practicing at home on their own without their teacher, or if they were a self-guided learner, that they could play along with the backing tracks. And we've created those backing tracks in contemporary music styles, so it fits in with the idea of our syllabuses. We've also mixed and mastered those with one of our music production examiners, a guy called Callum Agnew. Nearly forgot his name there. Callum Agnew, who's an examiner for music production, and he's made them sound absolutely fantastic. So they really do fit a professional sound and style and level. And those tracks will be available to download with the download code that's in the book through our website. So the design is really modern and colourful, and that was one of the things that we wanted to make completely different from other books. When we looked at things like Piano Safari, it felt very childlike. When we looked at John Thompson, it looked quite dated. Interestingly, both of those covers are in colour, but inside the books are black and white. And that's because it saves on printing costs to print in black and white. We wanted to stand out from that crowd, so we've printed in full colour, and we've printed on really high quality paper. So when customers pick up these books, they're going to feel as if they're very, very premium. We've also, and this is the first time we've done this at Rock School, we've wire bound the book as well. So the book sits really nicely on the piano and will look really fabulous, but also will sit nicely for students who are learning. The last thing we decided to put in were stickers. So what we wanted to do was encourage people to feel that sense of achievement. After all, the graded music syllabuses are about giving people benchmarks and achievement throughout their journey of learning an instrument. So if you like, these achievement stickers are like little mementos of achievement, and then we've put a certificate that can be filled out by the teacher at the end of the book, and a nice well done sticker as well. So we've got great stickers that go throughout the book. We've printed more stickers than you need in the book, because we know how interesting kids get with stickers, and sometimes they can go all over the place. So let's take you through a bit more. So diving in a bit deeper into the method books themselves, there are 10 topics, I said, in each of those books. So I'll just take you through those topics so you can get an idea of what's in each. So first of all, getting started, which is about sitting at the piano correctly, holding your hands in the right position, and then we move on to the first pieces. Now the first piece that we look at has no pitch element to it at all, it is just a rhythmic piece. Then we start to introduce pitches. 2 notes at first, then topic 4 we move on to 3, 4, 5 notes. And once we've covered position 1 in the right hand, we move into topic 5 to introduce the left hand. And we do the same thing again, 1 note at first, then 2, then 3, until we've introduced the first position in left hand and in right hand. Topic 6, we combine the hands to play the first piece with 2 hands. Topic 7, we start adding dyads so that we're playing up harmonic elements as well. Topic 8, we move out into the octave. We're still playing note in motion-wise patterns at the moment, but by topic 9 we skip positionings, and then by topic 10 we introduce our first pieces. Now these then are full pieces where the student will play with the backing tracks, and it will sound like a polished piece of music. They are really exciting topics, and I'll show you some sample pages in a second. But before I do that, we'll have a look at book 2. So book 2, the cover looks quite similar, but the colour just slightly changes. And we look at preparing students, particularly to take debut and grade 1 in this book. So we introduce the concept of tied notes and eighth notes. In topic 2, we look at playing off the beat, so we introduce syncopation. We extend the hands in topic 3, so we're going past an octave of play. We also then introduce, and I think this is really bold, and I hope that students really like this, the idea of major and minor pentatonic scales at topic 4. Now, we wanted to do this because they just don't get mentioned in classical music, and they really are the foundation stone for most melodic features within pop music, so it's great that we can get students to learn them a bit earlier. They're also quite easy scales, aren't they? Just 5 notes from a tonic. So it's great to have those in there. And in topic 4, you'll also see that there's a page on jamming. Now, we didn't want to call it improvisation because that scares quite a lot of people. Actually, if you're a popular musician, you know that improvisation is nothing to be scared of at all. But we've just introduced the idea and called it jamming. So it enables students to start to compose their own melodies, come up with their own ideas at a very, very, very early stage. And I think that's a key selling point. It's ever so accessible and very easy. Topic 5, we've put in something about understanding music. Now, that's just a brief exploration of different genres of music. It's a piece of text followed by a couple of exercises. And the reason we've put that in is because that is a requirement within debut. And at debut, the students are asked general musicianship questions, so we wanted to make sure that we had a piece of teaching around those general musicianship questions. At the end of topic 5, it says very clearly in the book, you can now take your debut exam. Buy this book and go along and book your exam. So we hope that these books will really encourage more debut exams. Topic 7, we start to look at dynamics and articulation. So simple dynamics, but loud and soft, it is the pianoforte. Topic 7 we'll deal with key signatures and ledger lines. Then we look at triads and broken chords, and we're up to 6/8 time and triplet rhythms by topic 9. So we've actually covered quite a lot of ground within those first 19 topics. In topic 10, there's a grade 1 piece, and there's a bit about understanding music part 2. So just everything you need to prepare yourselves for the GMQ questions at grade 1. So by the end of book 2, you've come all the way through to a grade 1 level. So I think that's quite a big journey, but these books will be an excellent resource. So you can see that we expect these books to be used for quite some time. So here are some sample pages, just all out on the sheet. I just wanted to dive into those a little bit deeper. We've also got some cool stickers as well that go along there. Let me just take you back to the sample pages. Now you'll notice as we get into the sample pages that we've got some excellent detail on sitting at the piano, left and right hands, but just also notice there's a sort of a playful way of presenting as well. We've tried not to make this look too much like children, but at the same time it is an accessible and colourful way. We've also colour-coded the hands, and that colour coding of numbers for the hand position is replicated within the pieces. So this is a piece from topic 8, so quite a late on in the book piece, but you'll see here that we've got the student part, and we've also got the teacher part as well, obviously written in a different octave. And there's our achievement sticker, and there is our sign to say that the material is downloadable as well. There's also some fun facts that are based throughout the book. Just going back to some of the earlier topics, again you'll see that the hand numbers are replicated on the stave notes as well. We've got great images all the way through, and then you've got some great images as well with really nice explanations, and then finger numbers again. So here you go at the end of book 1. Book 1, I learned all of these things, little tick boxes. When we get into the pieces, you'll see that they are relatively complicated. Here's a piece from book 2. It's got dynamics and articulation in it as well. So it's a really fun looking book. The stickers that go throughout the book are also really exciting. They've got images of pianos, they've got well done, they've got congratulations on them as well, and they're a little reward for students as they get through the pieces as well. And that's really just to encourage that sense of having progressed, and that's what we really want students to feel. And you'll see that the stickers go directly into the books, and the books I think look really smart, much nicer than the competitions. Let's think about that though for a second as well. At the end of the book there's a lovely congratulations sticker, and then there's also a certificate so that can be filled out by the teacher and for the student and ripped out of the book. So just thinking about the competitors for a second, like I say, John Thompson's, it's a really established book, but it has a very dated design. It doesn't look contemporary, I don't think, in any way whatsoever. It's printed in black and white. The one thing that John Thompson's does have is a huge series of books, a great network of books to be able to access. And if our method books are really successful, we'll be able to add to them, just like John Thompson did as well. Piano Safari, another great book. I mean, I really enjoy this book, but again, once you've got into the book, you note that the design of the book feels very school-like, and I think not as high-end as our book feels. And Piano Adventures, again, a really good book, written by Mr. and Mrs. Faber, but published by Hal Leonard, so don't get confused by the fact that there's Faber and Hal Leonard on there. But it's really classical. Does have really lovely music engraving, actually, and we really looked at the way that they presented the notes on the page within Piano Adventure to make sure that our book felt as nice in terms of its engraving, and I think that the music is presented really well in our book. So the marketing team have come up with some really lovely themes for the book as well. They really wanted to present the idea of the target market, so we've used actually some great kids from the office here and come up with a kind of a playful theme with a strapline of teaching tomorrow's musicians today, and it's a really nice bold design as well. And they love this idea of starting on the right note. So making sure that we're getting people just enter our syllabuses at the very beginning as well. So they've also created for you some brilliant assets as well that you can do, and any of these can be accessed. There's flyers, roller banners, there's GIFs. I think it's the first time we've ever used GIFs in our marketing as well, and I really like GIFs. If you use Instagram, then there's infographics there. There's some blog articles which you can also access and use and repost about early piano playing. And then there's the assets like print ads and posters, sales notes and press releases as well, which you can use in your areas. Let's take a look at some of those. So the piano flyer is on A5, and it just goes through the simple messages around the piano book and some of those topics that we include as well. But I love the design of these. We've got one of the pop-ups behind us as well, which I think look really strong. So if you are doing presentations, then you can get these printed. I don't want to speak for the marketing department, but I'm sure that if you needed them translated and you're able to provide us with local text, that we could do that for you as well. And whilst we talk about translations as well, these are our socials on Insta and our GIFs as well, and they are moving. I do like a moving GIF. Just while I mentioned translations very briefly, I just also wanted to tell you that we are going to translate this book into simplified Chinese for the Chinese-speaking market. And I'm interested to hear from reps if there would be any other languages that would be useful to be translated into. We don't have huge translation budgets, but if there is demand for other languages, I'd be very happy to analyse that and to think about whether we could also translate that into other languages as well. It's been a very simple process of translation for the Chinese language pieces. So the books are purchased through Hal Leonard, and they will be back from the printers on the 13th of September, ready for you. And you can put in your orders from now, that's no problems at all. And then once the customers have bought the books through the distribution network, then they can download all of the materials, that's the supporting audio, through the normal downloads method on the rslawards.com website. And that's the same thing as always. Create an account, type in the code, access your download section. There we go. We have done quite a lot of consultation with teachers and with students as well, and there were a couple of things that we could point out. So How will they benefit the users? Well, students will play up to grade grade 1 level, and it's back into 10 easy topics. Can it support their learning? Absolutely. They are great accompaniments to the grade books as well. If you were to say what is it in one simple USB, well, it's preparing them for contemporary and classical music. There's no reason why a student couldn't go on and do classical grades after using their book, but it will also prepare them to be able to play in a contemporary style. I've spotted a typo. Both books will cost $7.99 GDP, so we'll just change that for you as well, but they're both at the $7.99 price point. We worked a long time to get the right price point for this. The John Thompson books are a little bit cheaper, but we wanted to have the more expensive printing. So we don't make an awful lot of money from these books. They are there as an access way into the graded syllabus, but we really wanted to make sure that we had a really high quality book. So $7.99 is just about profitable for us and represents really good value for the candidates. I would point out though that the candidates still need to buy a grade book to take the grade exam. So this is not a replacement for a grade book, and the candidates still need to buy a grade book to do a graded exam. That's why we've got different pieces in the graded syllabus from the piano method book. So we think it's suitable for about 5 years plus, but our typical age demographic for exams is a bit older than that, so we've made sure that it still fits with slightly older students as well. And why would you want to learn how to play contemporary? Well, because contemporary piano playing covers all of the classical techniques, as well as a number of more interesting things like improvisation and composition. It's much more accessible and it's much more fun. So, will it affect anybody learning classical piano? No, there's no ill effects from learning contemporary piano. We did this book because we had such great feedback from teachers across the world. Students are really going to benefit from this as well. So, one of the questions that came back to us from teachers is, well, shouldn't we just have stuff that's available from the internet? But actually, a proper benchmarked book from an international exam board means that those teachers and students will know that this is an appropriate level. When I looked at lots of material on the internet, there's lots of stuff at grade 3 level or grade 4 level, but actually the stuff which is for beginners is not very good. And of course, just to reiterate, you can download the audio to support that as well. Okay, so if you need to contact us about this, then please do contact either myself for any information about the syllabus, about the books themselves, or Natalie if you'd like to talk about more marketing assets, or indeed, of course, Henry or Connor if you've got specific questions around sales and sales targets. Now, there's a couple of questions that have come in. So, any age limits in general? We have kids from the age of 6 enrolling and above. There's no limit. Is that okay? Nope. Absolutely no limit. We think that someone age 6 would really like this book, but there's no upward age limit. If the student likes the look of it and they think it's going to be useful, then we think it's going to be great. My wife, who is a similar age to me, had a look at this book and she really enjoyed, she doesn't play piano, she really enjoyed sort of just getting some of the very simple techniques down from the first book as well. And okay, as for I can cover the Italian. Luca, that would be amazing. I can send you an InDesign file if you'd like to translate it into Italian. The print cost is quite high, so we would like to be able to print a number of copies. But if you want to translate it into Italian, I'd be delighted to talk to you about that. But also, could you provide me with the information about how many books do you think we might realistically sell as well, just so we can price the printing as well, and make sure that we're not printing and making no money, because that would be one of the worst things that we could do. And from Sarajevo, As for the transactions, we'd love it, I'm sure. So we'll cover the 2 countries. Again, and if you think that this would work well in Croatian, then we would be really happy to look at that as well. But let me know the language, let me know the market, let me know the number of books you think would be possible to sell, and I wonder whether we can come up with some way of being able to print these books for you. I would be delighted to do that as well. Okay, great. Well, that just about takes us to the end of this short presentation. Let me take you back here. Great. Henry, we'll bring you back in.
Yeah, let me just round it off real quick. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I really hope you found this session useful. And that you got some more inside knowledge on the piano method book that we're bringing out. And I know that speaking in the markets with you guys is something that you've wanted for a long time, to have something kind of pre-grade 1 that the kids could get into. So I'm really happy that we've got something that kind of gets your students ready for what they need and get the market ready for what they need. So as Tim said, if you have any questions, please, as always, come to me, come to Connor, come to Helena, speak to us and see if we can help you push this forward in your region. And all of the marketing materials that Tim showed as well, they're all on the FTP now. If you have any issues accessing that, let us know, and we'll help you get on the right track. But I think that's pretty much it for us. So if there's nothing else, then thank you guys so much for joining. Thanks for watching. Please come and ask any questions you have at any time. And have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.